Hello, everyone. I have a little note I'm going to put into the chat. If anyone needs a sign language interpreter, please let us know in the chat. And hopefully we can find somebody within our team to help. So let me know. Otherwise, just to start out, welcome to our session at EVCC on instructor education. I'm Reg Romero. I'm in the marketing department. I will be your moderator today. We have one presenter, and that's Doug. And Doug is the department head. Because we have a small number, there's actually 7 participants. We normally ask people to put their questions in chat, but I think today we could be able to do it. If you don't want to write it in the chat, you can also just type. You could also just unmute yourself and ask the questions after Doug's presentation. So here you go. Before we officially start the presentations, I'd like to make an acknowledgement that it's something we do here at VCC in respect of our Indigenous neighbors and partners. I'd like to begin by acknowledging that we live, work, and study on the traditional and unceded territory of the Coast Salish peoples, the traditional territories of the Squamish, Musqueam, and Tsleil-Waututh nations. All right, so as I mentioned earlier, Doug will lead us through the programs that belong to instructor education. Take it away, Doug.
Well, I'd just like to welcome all of you there. And if at any time you have a question, because there's a small number of them, I would be more than willing to answer the questions. Just turn your camera on or unmute yourself, put your hand up, or say, type, I have a question in the chat. Either way, and I really want to acknowledge that. Before we like to start this, one of the things I like to do is, it's a little different, but in the chat, just put down, why are you interested in the instructor education program? Why are you interested in that? That just gives me a sense, because I can change the presentation to maybe address some of the questions. So just say, I'm interested because I want to become a teacher. I'm interested because I heard of the program. I'm interested because this would be kind of cool. I'm interested because a friend told me to take the course. All right, so I want to teach trades. That's a perfect good reason there. Thanks, Philip. What trade would you like to teach? Okay, electronics. Excellent. Thanks. That gives me something to take a look at, because we do have a lot of electronics instructors who have taken the program. That would be great. Wait for a couple more people here. I see there's one person who's having trouble connecting to the audio. So. All right, well, I'm going to continue on. And once again, if you have a question, feel free. First of all, the instructor education faculty actually has several programs within it. And the very first one I like to talk about is basically the Provincial Instructors Diploma program. Now, the Provincial Instructors program, Diploma program, started back in the 1960s with the provincial government saying we wanted to train and develop people who are subject matter experts, much like Philippe here has an electronics background. He wants to teach in the trade. And they say we wanted to be able to develop people who are subject matter experts so that they could teach it. So they developed the actual Provincial Instructors Diploma program, and it has been run by Vancouver Community College since the early 70s. And we graduate roughly about 250 to 300 students a year. And so because of that, people graduating from our program actually join a large number of people. And you can't go to a post-secondary institution and go into an department without someone says, oh, I completed the PIDP. It's that well known. It's got a very strong reputation. Now, something that, oh, there it is here. There we go. Provincial Instructor Diploma Program. Is that the right slide, Reg? I think it is, yeah. So this Provincial Instructor Diploma Program, the average age of our student is 42 years old. And so because of that, that's a little different than a lot of other programs. So that's the age of the people who come in and take the program, and you need to have a subject matter expertise. So you either have to have worked in your industry for a period of time. Maybe you are a practical nurse and you've worked in the nursing field for 10 years. Maybe you are a surveyor and you've worked in the surveyor for 10 years. Maybe you're an accountant and you've worked as a professional accountant, a CA for 10 years, whatever it is to be recognized as an expert. And then you have the opportunity to teach. If we take a look at our demographics, about 60% of the students who are in our program are currently teaching. They got into teaching and they want to learn how to become a better teacher. Then what happens, there's another group, there are people who say, well, I'd like to get a job. And because there's so many places that are looking for people who are asking for this Provincial Instructors Diploma Program, what they will do is they will come in and take the program in anticipation of being hired, which should be about another 30%. The other 10% tend to be people who are corporate trainers, people who work within an organizations, a community group, professional organizations. So the class is made up of a really eclectic group of people. The one thing that's common is they're all a subject matter expert and they're all very passionate about what they want to do. And that makes a really big difference. Now, the Provincial Instructor Diploma Program is offered in a variety of different formats. Currently, right now, because of COVID, it's all being offered online. So probably even this fall, we are going to see online courses. And that is going to be the difference that we happen to see right there, that all the courses, and the courses are 10 weeks long. Each course is a university credit, so you get transfer credits to it. And these courses are delivered on a continuous in-base. So Don, if all of a sudden you said, hey, I want to start the course, you could fill out the application. As long as you fill out the application form, you have some expertise, you could call the office and say, I want to start. We put you in the 3100 course, which is the very first level course. And you could be, from the time you register to the time you're accepted into the program and to the time you could be in your first class, could be within 3 days. That's how quick we can put you into the program. So for a lot of people, that's really exciting. They get going, and once they finish one course, they can switch right into it. Sometimes they'll get halfway through one and they'll take another one. It is considered a diploma program. So because it is a diploma program, it's considered 60 credits. That's a 2-year diploma. Now, the first 30 credits we give to you because you are a subject matter expertise. So we say, all right, we will give you the first year credits based on your subject matter expertise. This is why we need to have some evidence to support that you are. You can't just come in and say, oh, I'm an expert in something. We'll say, well, does anyone else view it? Have you worked for 10 years or something like that to demonstrate that? Then we have 30 credits, or basically 10 courses at 3 credits each. So that's your 30 credits. And for just starting, because we've just started this new program, we now have that 22 of them are core courses. And I'm going to talk about the core courses, and then we have electives. Now, these electives are courses that are more special interest. But if you have other related courses in the field of education, you're now able to transfer those courses in if they're educationally related. So maybe you've done a B.Ed, maybe you've done a Master of Arts, or some of the other areas where you have educational courses, you could bring in some of those courses. We will actually allow you to either through a prior learning assessment or an exemption, 50% of that 30. So you could bring in 15 credits into the program. So as you can see, well, gee, that really has brought down the number of courses that you would have to take, and is very workable for a lot of people. So let's get back then to those core courses that these are the ones that are really going to be there. And the program was really set up to allow you to become a better educator, to allow you to develop the skills in which you need to do. And the course, do we have a shot of the courses there, Reg? I don't know if we do or not. It's just this one slide, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, we don't, unfortunately.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. So if you have a pen and you just want to write these numbers down for reference and you want a question afterwards, feel free. The very first one is 3100, and it's basically Foundations of Adult Education. And here is where you learn what is the philosophy of adult education? What are the theories that support adult education? How do we motivate people? And what is some of the science around how we are doing teaching and learning? So it's a very, very practical course. Then we have 3210, and that's all about creating a curriculum. So if you want to be a teacher, you should know how to write a syllabus, know how to create a lesson plan, know how to write objectives. So that's the 3210 course. It's all about instructional design. The 3220 course is all about teaching. We call it the mini lesson or the instructional skills workshop. And in this one, you actually get to deliver 3 mini lessons. So you actually have a chance to write a lesson plan and then deliver it. So that's the 3220. The 3230 is all about how do we assess learning, whether it's writing an exam, creating checklists and rating guides, or informal assessments. How do we provide feedback? So that's the 3230. Now, if you have done the 3210, the 3220, and the 3230, you can actually get what's known as Train the Trainer certificate, which is a really nice little piece of paper to have, and you can apply for it. So if you get those 3 courses, you can do that. The next course is 3240, which is instructional media. It's all about creating media that you can use in the classroom or online. Thank you. If you take a look at what he just put in the chat, he has the link there. Thanks, Reg.
Yeah, no worries.
So that becomes a really good course. Then we have 3250, which is all about instructional strategies. And we look at everywhere from how do you do a case study? How do you do problem-based learning? How do you motivate students? How do we use questioning techniques? How do we involve cooperative learning, brain-based learning, the cognitive sciences, everything around classroom management and working and getting students involved. You hear terms like experiential education, active learning, learning centered. All of those terms are impacted by the choices that you make with your instructional strategies. The course after that is 3260, which is professional practice. And professional practice looks at how do you get feedback on your ability to teach. And the other part of it is how do you develop yourself as a professional, ethical dilemmas, where's your goals, your career paths, how you're going to promote and develop yourself as a professional. Then we're going to have these 3 electives, and these 3 electives they could be a wide range, anywhere from teaching online to adult leadership, to cooperative learning, to cognitive sciences, which would be all specialty courses. And then in the end, we have the last course, which is the 3270, which is a capstone project, which allows you then to put it all together. You find a place to teach, you reflect on it, and then you mark it. So that's basically the Instructor Diploma program run by the School of Instructor Education. That's what the SIE stands for. It's the School of Instructor Education. So if you see that on their email, that's what it's for. That. So the Provincial Instructor Diploma program is one of the programs that the School of Instructor Education does operate. Now I'm going to stop here now for a second and see if there's any questions about the Provincial Instructors Diploma program so that I can, I don't want to miss anyone with any questions there. So do you have that special buzzer, Reg, where all of a sudden it zaps their computer or something? Do you have that button?
No, we disabled that, Doug.
Oh, you did?
Nice try, though.
Yeah, so I can't say press Jessica and all of a sudden Jessica sits there and goes, ah.
No, we were thinking of the candy dispenser instead. It somehow
Well,
fired candy through the screen, but we still couldn't figure out the technology.
I see. So
Yeah.
this is all of these opportunities in which people want to take advantage of. And like I said, people, here's your chance to ask us a question because, oh, someone there. Oh, there's Philip.
Hey,
Hi
Phil.
there. I know you went on for a little while, but before that, you mentioned that because it's online, you can start at any time. You said you could sign up and then start the program in 3 days. And I know that that's probably just because of COVID. Is that going to be phased out like in 2022?
No, we've been doing that for the last 10 years.
Oh, okay.
So this was something that we had done pre-COVID. So this is the way that we had been offering courses. What happened is we were about 75% online pre-COVID. COVID made us 100%.
Okay. Is there any in-class portion at all? Like exams need to be done in class or anything like that?
There are no exams in class. We don't have exams because of the nature of the work.
Okay.
So that's the piece there. It's all projects. Like it's a very practical type of course. It sets up like you need to create lesson plans. You'll need to create a syllabus. You need to be able to come up with classroom engagement strategies. What would they be? So it's very, very practical skills that you will need for when you're there. You're not doing something like an exam. There's not a single course that has an exam in it.
The reason I asked, I live in Victoria. So is there any part of this that I would need to take the ferry over or
Nope.
Everything remotely?
You could do the entire program online.
Oh, amazing.
We have people in Dubai. We have people in China. We have people all over Canada who are taking our program.
Okay, very cool. No,
Yeah, so like I said, if you literally applied with your background, you could literally fill out the paperwork. You'd be contacted. If as long as the paperwork was good, you could be in the course in 3 days. And some people, because it's relatively self-paced for the courses, you're in with a group of people. We set it up for a 10-week chunk, but we have some people who are, say, hey, I got 3 weeks off, and they can crush a course in 2 weeks because they just focus in on it.
So Doug, I'm just going to build on that point. What is the time commitment? So this can be done part-time quite easily, right?
Oh, yes. Yeah. And that's a great question, Reg. And people, because we often have people who are teaching full-time. So they're teaching full-time and doing it. So this program could easily be done in 1.5 to 2 years. But we have had people literally, when we had our face-to-face and online, we had people complete it within 3 months. So that's a quick way. So I notice here we have,
yeah, you got
that was Jaylee. I wouldn't call myself an SME. I'm a project management. I'm currently learning tech writing, and I'm interested in learning structural design. Is this a program suitable for me? Yes, this is a perfect program for you because you would have the expertise because of the nature of what you're doing. There's a great deal of time and spent around instructional design and the layout of courses. We get a lot of project managers. We get a lot of consultants who take our program, and we get a lot of industry learning developers who take our program, because if you take a look at the 3 courses, the instructional design, the teaching workshop, and the assessing learning, that gives you your train the trainer certificate. And a lot of people who are in private industry, that's what they really go for. So does that answer your question, Lee? You just type in yes or no. So that way, that would be great. Perfect. Thank you. All right, Jessica. I got to read the question. Hello, Jessica. What is the arrangement for the capstone project like? How do you find a supervisor or mentor for this? Well, it's a little different in a lot of ways. It's more of a reflective type of activity. And because of COVID, let me just back up a section. one of the expectations is you have to deliver some form of teaching. Now, because of the fact is COVID, we often now will say, if you can get 5 or 6 of your friends together in a Zoom and you can teach them South African spice biltong sausage making, whatever that happens to be, you could teach that, record it, and that would be what you would reflect. It's not like it's 40 hours or 50 hours in a classroom teaching. No, it's a teaching experience that you reflect on, and then you reflect on the entire program. So that's really what the capstone is. So it's not like you have to find a mentor or a supervisor. Basically, the most difficult part is trying to find a group of people that you could find, be willing to listen to you talk for 30, 40 minutes on a certain topic. That's really the biggest issue there. So, Jessica, does that answer your question, Jessica? If not, type me another question. I'll be more than willing to expand on that. Ah, perfect. See that, Reg? I'm 3 for 3.
Keep going, Doug.
If I keep this up, I might, you
might be quite good at your job.
I know, it's amazing. It's just absolutely amazing. All right, so my job now is, you help me out, people, because Reg had a bet that I wouldn't get all the people to at least post something into the chat room. So I've got 3 of you now, and so that means I have to get at least 5 more. So help me out. Type something in there, and then that way Reg has to take me out for breakfast.
Virtually.
Virtual breakfast. So if you have any questions, please type them in there.
I'm going back to the time question there, Doug.
You're just trying to cut into their time. That's all you're doing.
But what's the time commitment per week, do you think, for completing the diploma program?
Well, typically, when you take a look at it, if you were to put over a 10-week period of time, which is the course, it is considered a 45 credit hour course. So if you look at that and you say, well, if I was to spend 45 hours in 10, that's 4.5 hours a week. I should be able to allocate that. So 4 hours a week is probably, that will give you your content and your ability to do the assignments. Now, sometimes people are not good at managing their time, and once they get onto the online course, they drift off, and all of a sudden they're on Facebook or they're surfing somewhere else. They'll say, oh, I spent 95 hours, and then when we look at their cookies off of the course, we'll say, well, you're in the course for 20 minutes, and then you left for an hour and a half, and then you came back in. And so what did you do in that hour and a half? Oh, well, I answered some emails. Well, that's not considered actually course time, but you can see how there is that impression.
But you aren't actually monitoring course time though.
In the background.
Oh, you do.
Well, we don't. Let's put it this way: we don't intentionally sit there. Oh, we're out to spy on you. No, it's part of the reports that we can generate. And when you're designing something, you need to know who your users are.
Mm-hmm.
You're in web page development, right? You need the analytics. How many people clicked on a button? If no one clicks on a button, you'll probably remove the button.
Exactly.
So we do the same thing. If you create a resource and no one uses it, you question, why is that resource used?
Right.
Or if you create an article to read and you find out that they click on it and they click off of it in 2 minutes, and you're thinking, well, that should be like a 15-minute read, and no one reads it, then you're saying, maybe I didn't do a good job explaining why they needed to read it.
Sounds good to me. So going back to what my original comment. So if you have 4 hours a week to spare, and even though you're working full time, this isn't a hard ask then, or it's not a tough ask.
No. I mean, so if you work it over 7 days, you say, oh, okay, if I do 45 minutes every other day, you should have no problem doing it.
Mm-hmm. Good.
So it's not a big risk. We'll tell people not to take 2 or 3 courses at one time. Unless, of course, they're not working. If they're not working, we've had people do 4 courses at one time.
Yeah.
So that becomes part of it. All right, so I'm going to talk about the teaching online certificate. Do we have a slide for that one?
No, I don't.
You don't?
So. No, I think
Oh.
they tried to decide, for whatever reason, they focused on, I didn't do
That
this
one there.
myself.
Okay, well, the
We
other one is,
focus on your flagship.
yeah, well, the other one is the Teaching Online Certificate. Now, this course is a certificate program, represents a year of training. And if you've done the Provincial Instructor's Diploma program, 3 courses will transfer right into it. And the Teaching Online is a really powerful ticket to have, because more and more people are looking for people to teach online. And this is really what we're seeing. So if you can teach online, and it's probably what I encourage people to do the most. If you are interested in teaching, get your certificate to teach online, because what we're starting to see now is if you've got experience somewhere, you can teach for a variety of different institutions. You're no longer stuck with one institution because of a physical space. You could be teaching all over the place. But a lot of places say, do you have some sort of expertise? And that Teaching Online certificate's of 3 courses, and it is online. It's not face-to-face. We had that question several times, Reg, if the Teaching Online certificate's face-to-face delivery. No, that would be counterproductive.
Well, you never know.
You never know. So like swimming, if I offer you swimming lessons, then I guarantee you won't get wet. We do dry land swimming.
Right.
So that's another program, 3 courses, and it's really a powerful way of doing it. So that's another program that's offered within us. And then we have another one that's rolling out, but I'm not going to talk about it now because it's one that is going to be offered probably in about another 6 months. And it focuses all about training people who are trades instructors. That's really what that emphasis is about. So that's the overview of the big picture. We don't teach a subject like, we don't teach you how to bake. We don't teach you how to be an electronics instructor. We don't teach you how to do accounting. You come to us with some skill that you want to present. And like I said, we do about 250 to 300 students a year graduate from our program. And if we've been doing this since the 1970s, you can see very quickly the number. We're in the thousands of students who have taken the program. And the Provincial Instructor Diploma program, because it says provincial, has a lot of cachet, and the VCC is only operating it under license from the provincial government. It was a provincial and government initiative back in the 60s to train educators, adult educators, in ways that they would be able to communicate effectively to the people that they were working with. So it makes a big difference that way. It's got great cachet. And like I said, we offer it all over the world. So
Yeah, I do have one more question.
you do have what?
The fees are on the page, right? And
The fees are on the page.
Yeah, but the instructor, the teaching online certificate, I'm not sure if it was on there.
There's actual separate web page for it's all itself. If you want to find the link, you could go there.
Oh yeah, okay, that's why.
You have the power there. You can just put it all in there and put the link in there for them to go there. We also are kind of neat because we actually are part of registration processes. You can phone our office and we actually have someone there, or email right now. Email us, we get back to you within the same day. So if you are interested about getting into the program, that address at the bottom, sie@vcc.ca, you will get a same day response. And if you want to apply, the application form will be sent out to you. Once you get the form back to us, you can register for courses. And like I said, we have people going right from first contact to being in a course, and you can do it in 3 days. So we're probably the absolute quickest turnaround time of any program there is in the college. I guess I'm going to be buying you breakfast, Reg. Here I thought if I pleaded with them that...
Sounds like it, but that's okay. We'll just move right along. I have put a link to a advising session. The current slide is advising, which is we have advisors at VCC that help you with the application process, with all the different available services. And those are the different services we have. You can find it also on our website. But with the advisors, you can actually have a one-to-one appointment, and they can look at everything from your past credentials. They can look at assessments for language and whatnot. The link there is for another Zoom session so that you can hear from advisors firsthand, and I think even make an appointment with the individuals. I think there's six of them involved in that, and it'll run till 5 o'clock today. So there you go. I don't have anything else. Oh, we did have a little poll, actually. I'm just kind of curious if anybody's interested in doing this.
Does it involve free donuts or coffee?
No, it involves just a click trying to tell you actually when people are interested in getting involved at VCC in this kind of program. Just kind of gives us a gauge of are people thinking of getting involved sooner or later?
So if everyone participates in the poll, I have to buy you breakfast, right?
Yeah, I think everybody participated.
Hey, people, that's kind of unfair. You know, I'm the one who's doing all the work. I mean, he's got the tough job. He presses the up and down arrows. Yeah, that's.
Okay, well,
they love you more than me,
we'll
Reg.
show the results now. There you go.
Look at that.
Look at that. So you have 3 people who want to get started. Like maybe because you said it, you can get in 3 days. There you go. And we got a couple in the future, and there's 2 unsures where hopefully we can talk them into it.
Well, the nice thing is the 2 people from 2022, they'll still be the same 3 days.
Yeah. We're not sure about way in the future what things will look like, I guess, but yeah. So there you go. We have somebody who's just arriving, who's just joining us now. So unfortunately, I mean, I don't know how much value they're going to get out of this, but I've let them in. Hello, Estella. Are you? I just understood. Oh, yeah, she's joined us. Yeah, we're just actually wrapping up. So probably the best thing is look in the chat links. You can kind of see a bit of a recap of what we covered. And so in chat, there's like a link to the program page. There was a few questions that might be similar to what you were interested in. And I've just added a Zoom link for advisors, and they're the people that help. Prospective student supply. I'm
going to put my email address in here too.
Yeah, sure, Doug. And that SIE, right? It also goes to you, doesn't it? SIE.
No, it goes to the office, but this one here goes directly to me.
Oh, okay.
So if any of you have a question, you want to send it directly to me, I can get you going, or at least answer the question. And once again, if I get 5 emails, Reg owes me a breakfast.
You're making everything a competition here.
I mean, I can't believe it. I only got 2 people ask questions.
Oh, hang on.
I'm up to 3 now. I'm up to 3.
Yeah.
What is the maximum time free for each? Oh, what's the max time fee?
How do you mean?
Time frame. Okay, yeah. Each course is over 10 weeks. From start to finish, we'll say that's what the average person can finish it in. And we basically have about a 97% completion rate of our courses, which is extremely high. And there are people who will get it done in 3-4 weeks, but the majority of people take the 10 weeks because it works good for them, and the course is really designed to be put out over 10 weeks.
Yeah, so, and that's at 4 hours per week for the 10 weeks.
Roughly.
Yeah, sounds
good. If all of a sudden you want to do it quicker, you need to add those 4 hours up and up and up.
Yeah.
So does that answer your question, Christine? Oh, there we go. So I'm up to 3 now, Reg.
I know. Very good, Doug.
I'm really working hard here.
I know. Hey, last time we did this, we talked about I asked you about some of the more interesting SMEs that have taken your program, like the different, yeah. Like what kind of stuff are people teaching as adult education? What is it?
How to be a mortician.
How to be a mortician. Okay.
Yeah, it'd work well with this group because I think they're dead. Dead silence.
Come on, be nice. Yeah.
No, I
don't
mean,
believe you're going to be running the How to Be a Stand-Up Comic course. Sorry.
we actually have people who are comic instructors.
You mean
Because that's
comic
part of it.
as like stand-up
Comedians.
comic?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We have people who've come from the Cirque du Soleil on how to teach aerobics. We have instructors coming from the music industry, how to train people to be music educators. It really is a wide range. Any area. We actually even had person train people on how to do dog tracking because that's what their subject matter expert, and they were a dog tracker. And they actually train people on how to track with dogs. We've had people who run horse camps. We have equestrian teachers. If we take a look at it, Reg, in order to become anywhere in life, someone has usually taught us something. So it doesn't matter what we want to become. We probably learned it from someone, either formally or informally. So the number of topics that are being developed who are teachers, it's absolutely amazing. Swim instructors, driving instructors. So when you start taking a look at all of the areas that we're involved in, ski instructors, so you see how all of those things just really just sort of add up. So the range of instructors is absolutely amazing.
I'll test you. What's the most common?
Probably the most common, if I was to group it, would probably be trades instructors. And then after that, it would be nurse educators. So the nurse educators actually make it mandatory if you want to be an LPN. So we get a lot of people from healthcare because you have to have it to get into it. And then after that, it's across the board. I mean, I can have a class of 20 people and I'll have 20 totally different professions in the class and teaching at a wide range of institutions, anywhere from, dog grooming school right up to a person who teaches physics at a university. So the range right to corporate trainers to people who work as bank managers. So it really is a wide range of people. I haven't met anyone who says, oh, gee, I arrived what I do by not learning it from someone. And that someone might have taken some form of training at some point in time.
Well, there's a couple more questions that popped in here while we were talking.
Really?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Financial aid, Philip, there are some financial aids, but because of the fact is we're not considered a full-time program, that makes us unique within the institution itself. We're not considered a full-time program because of the way we're structured. So things like student loans, some of the normal bursaries, but there are some bursaries and there are some scholarships that you can apply for. And also there's some, depends on where you are or whatever it happens to be, there are certain things for immigrants and sponsored students will also have some funding, but definitely talk to financial advising. They have a list of all the things there. That's the best person to talk to.
Yeah. And Philip, like I mentioned earlier, I put that link to that Zoom session with advisors. You could ask that question there. You could also go to our website under vcc.ca/advising, and there might be some general information on what you're looking for, but there also will be their contact info there, their phone number and whatnot, to make an appointment so that you can actually have a one-on-one discussion with somebody.
I just noticed I didn't answer Jessica's question here.
Okay.
You were not a very good facilitator, Reg. What is this? You let me jump ahead of someone. You better go back to that facilitator training course, okay? Because whoever trained you really needs some more training.
I skipped that. I skipped that.
You skipped that. They just gave you the badge. All right. So Jessica, sorry about that. That's Reg's fault. Are there any group projects in the program? Teaching is by its very nature an individual activity. There are sometimes you have team teaching, team-based teaching in certain disciplines where you do team-based teaching. Because of the fact is everyone is going through, especially like in the online, it's very difficult to arrange group projects in the online world because everyone's starting at different times. In the face-to-face, if there is a group project, it's all done within class time. So I would consider it more group work, but there's time in class to do it. It's not something you have to do outside or try to arrange time to get it done. So on the online course, no, but on the face-to-face there is, but they try to put it in there. We just find that when people are all different levels, it's very, very difficult to do. And sometimes we try it, we might partner you up with someone to share or work together for, share an article or something, find someone that you can share an article with. Well, that might be something there, but there's nothing that is really heavily formalized that way. Does that answer your question, Jessica? Thank you. Thank you for putting that up. I'm now up to 5, Reg. I'm getting closer.
I can't believe it. Well, we're getting more and more participants. So we actually had another latecomer, and as I mentioned earlier, just feel free to go through the chat to see what we've covered from the beginning. There's some links there that might be useful to you, and maybe some of the questions that were answered, or some of the questions there, not necessarily all the answers are there, but like I said, some of the useful links are in the chat. So I think we were meant to wrap up after 45 minutes, and would you believe we're actually almost there. So I have 2 more slides, and they're the ones that are kind of like.
How come you got so many slides?
Yeah, I know.
I get 1.
Yeah, I know.
And you get all these extra. It's just not fair.
I know. But
I want one slide for the Teaching Online certificate. What happens? I don't get any. Yes.
I know. But people are here to see you, Doug. So.
Yeah, well, I get 1 slide. Who do I talk to?
Here we go. So this is the $35 waiver that's available till April 30th for domestic students. So there's an application fee that VCC normally charges, but it will be waived till, like I said, April 30th, as long as you use the promo code that's there at the bottom. Info 0421. And another benefit of joining us today is this chance to win one of 3 $1,000 tuition credits. And I will put a link in the chat that is the actual entry form for that. So you don't have to even worry about trying to find it. And yeah, it's a short survey about participating today. And then, yeah, there's a draw. 3 tuition credits of $1,000 are going to be drawn after April 30th, I guess. And so, again, there's a code there, Inspire. I'm not sure if you even need that now that I've given. Oh, yes. Philip, the code there is info 0421. So I'll put that in for tuition. All right. And I have one last thing. So this is for the reference, helps you keep all the codes too, in case you didn't get all this stuff. That last link I put in the chat is the slide deck. You can download it and then have all the information I've just shown on this slide deck. The event will be available, I guess, from vcc.ca/experience. Likely in the next week or 2, the recording of this event will be there. So for any of the latecomers, there's a chance to replay it. And so aside from that, yeah, if you have any detailed questions or specific questions, just make sure to reach out to Doug and join the advising session that I put in the chat. We'll leave this event now. It's basically wrapped up at 3:45, but I will leave the Zoom event on so that if anybody needs to look at the chat or download any links, they'll be available. But otherwise, thanks very much for coming out and listening to us today, and have a great day.